What's up, fam? It's Brian Castrillo. It's time for late night movie reviews, and tonight's movie, we are going to go with Uncharted. But let's talk about one thing I want to ask you guys is like when you guys, watch a movie, be it at the movie theater or you're watching at home, I want to know what is your go-to snack. And I think like every now and then I'm going to throw a snack out there right before I do a review, and I'm going to try and do something different every time. But tonight's snack, we got the Tostitos with the hint of lime. I'm going to go with a little Tostitos Queso Blanco dip. And because it is late night, got to go with the Bang energy drink. I got the black cherry vanilla. And we're going to watch Uncharted. And I'm going to do a review after this. But I want to know, when you guys watch a movie, what is your favorite go-to snack? Put it in the comments, let me know, and I'm curious to see, what you guys choose, and maybe you guys might give me some inspiration for new snacks when I do another review, and we can share and just see who has the best snacks. But let's go to it. Tell me in the comments, and let's get to the review. All right, just finished Uncharted, and I gotta say I love this movie. Now, this is coming from, I'm a gamer, but I have, for whatever reason, have never got around to playing Uncharted, probably because I was more of a Nintendo kid, so I never really had PlayStation until right now. Like I have a PS4, I'll probably get the PS5, but my gaming system was always Nintendo. I loved Legend of Zelda, greatest game series in my opinion of all time, but I've always heard good things about Uncharted, just never got around to playing it. So this is coming from someone who has never played, not even 1 minute of this game. That being said, I love this movie, and it even brought out like mentioned some of my other favorite movies like Indiana Jones, and Pirates of the Caribbean. They even mentioned Jack Sparrow, which I thought in that moment it was really funny. Of course, justice for Johnny Depp, but really enjoyed this movie, and it really started out like right from the beginning with a lot of action, and the way the pacing of this movie was really good. Like it just. I felt that it never felt rushed. I was always, on the edge of my seat. There was a lot of history, and for me, I love history. In fact, when I was stationed in the U.S. Navy in Boston, Massachusetts, I was stationed on board the USS Constitution, Old Ironside. So this brought a lot of reflection upon that. But let's just kind of go right at it. Like right in the beginning, literally the very first moment of the movie, the very first scene, it's at the edge of your seat action, and you see and I honestly love this first scene and how it intertwined into the later on in the movie. But you see Nathan Drake played by Tom Holland, and of course he's falling from this cargo plane, and you see him we seen this in the trailer. He's just tumbling down, and he's landing on different cargoes. He's fighting. People getting knocked off. We see the red car coming, falling through. But then right at the last second, you see it brings it back in time. And right as he's about to fall, he gets caught by his older brother. His older brother, I believe his name was Sam. And then they're in like this museum, and they're checking out this map, and they end up getting caught, and they're talking about taking him away, but he leaves them with this ring and a lighter, and they kind of go on their own ways, but he tells them that I'll always be here with you. And this ring that he gave him was very important, and he said, I'd never go anywhere with this, so I'm going to be back. And that was really cool the way they brought us into that into the past, because as he's falling and somebody catches him from the plane, it's like a scene back in time where his brother, like Tom Holland's character, Nathan Drake, is falling, and his brother catches him right from this balcony of this museum that they're in. And they're talking about looking for Magellan's lost gold. Now, I love history, and I mentioned I was on the USS Constitution, where we had to learn a lot about 1812 history. And if you ever get a chance to Boston, go check out this ship. It's absolutely amazing. It's the oldest commissioned warship afloat in the world today. Keel's still original wood. There's still some other original wood, but the keel was laid down in 1794. And I literally had to climb aloft and learn to set sail, step out on the yards. One of the most intense things I ever got to do in my life. And so I implore you, if you love history and you get a chance to go to Boston, Massachusetts, definitely go check out not only the history trail throughout Boston, but definitely stop out in Charlestown Naval Yard and check out the ship I was stationed on, Old Ironsides, USS Constitution. You'll absolutely love it. Just the stories that the sailors tell there are fantastic. Now the ring. On the ring it said Sic Parvis Magna, which means greatness from small beginnings. And I just thought that was kind of cool. And how this ring kind of plays out into different clues. And literally, like I said, they mentioned Indiana Jones, and there's a lot of it really felt like, some of the great Indiana Jones movies that we've seen. Now, the way it begins, I love the bar. We find out that he's like a bartender in New York, and this is one of the coolest bartenders that you probably could ever meet. He's doing the tricks, but he's also very got a quick wit, and just some of the different things that he knows. These are the kind of bartenders that you wish you could bump into, instead of some of the ones that I'm sure you've seen at various bars in your own lives. But what's then we see Mark Wahlberg's character, who plays Victor Sullivan, aka Sully, and he pitches to him this job that he wants him to do, but he's like, get out of here, I don't got time for this. Some of us have lives, and but he really slickly, leaves his card, which says something about thou shalt not steal, because they're both of them have great hands where they're basically like taking stuff from each other. You'll see that throughout the movie. But they go back to his, I believe it was Sully's apartment, and they show this map that he's looking at right in there, which was the same map that him and his brother were, looking at when they were in that museum before his brother got caught and then just took off. But he eventually decides to come up. They find out that Sully actually knew his brother, and he has this key, which is actually this cross, and they have to get the other key, which is at this auctioneer where we meet Antonio Banderas's character, which really loved his character in here, and also some great performances by Tati Gabrielle and Sophia Ali, but in this auction, it almost felt like a James Bond movie. So bring another great franchise into this, like just the feel of it, the action, and the way things were played off, just phenomenal. One of my favorite scenes probably in any movie. Now, and another thing I loved about this is that they're visiting some of these beautiful places in the world. Now, I love to travel. I haven't gotten to travel as much as I like. I mean, I've been to only 2 other countries outside the United States. One, when I was young, I went to Mexico. I think I was about 10 or whatever. And then as I got older, I got to go to Nicaragua, where my grandfather's from, and got to see, where my family grew up, and just some of the beautiful sights there. But in this movie, we go to, Barcelona, we go to the Philippines, and just some of the cinematography in this movie is absolutely gorgeous, as they're, we're traveling throughout the world, and they're trying to find Magellan's Gold. They both have these church. Now, one thing that you're finding out in this movie, there's a lot of double crossing. Everybody's double crossing each other. They got these 2 keys that are these crosses, kind of one of the things that they got in the auction, and one of the other characters, Sophia Ali, she had the other character, but there was a great scene where, they're in Barcelona. She takes one of the crosses without Nathan Drake realizing it. Again, back to, like I said, there's a lot of quick hands, and they're all very, very good at this. And I love that Mark Wahlberg's in this movie because he is one of my favorite actors of all time. I mean, just go look at his lineup of movies, check out his IMDb. You won't be disappointed with most of the movies that he's been in. But she takes it, and then they go on this like run, almost like parkour, which again reminds me of another Bond movie. And they're running through trying to catch, Nathan Drake, Tom Holland's character, chasing after her, which they finally catch up. But these two crosses, they come together, and they're going through these various steps with underneath the church, the old Catholic church, which I would love. Just watching this movie makes me wish I could travel again, where I get to actually see some of these things. But they're going through, and you see as they're trying to turn these two keys, they do it. They do the wrong way, and these darts, just like Indiana Jones movie, comes out and shoots at them. And I gotta say, how well, like, the chemistry between Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland was really fantastic in this movie. But they end up going to Philippines, and they actually find, I think it was in Cala de Oro. I'm not sure the exact coordinates of that, like, within the world, but they find Magellan's two ships. There's gold in there, but right before that, in the Philippines, Sophia Ali and Tom Holland's characters they're trying to figure out these clues that were being sent to, Tom Holland's character Nathan Drake by his brother Sam, and he figures it out, and he leaves out these fake coordinates, which of course she jumps at it, and she thinks that she's gonna take off without him, 'cause she's already double crossed him in this movie, and she does it again. She grabs it, but he had slyly put in wrong coordinates. And they eventually come, Mark Wahlberg's character, and who is already in these ships. He found him as Tom Holland's character, and they meet up with each other. And then of course, Tati Gabrielle's character, who actually ended up killing Antonio Banderas' character, which I was kind of disappointed because I was really liking him, and he did double cross his father to get to the point where he is. Like I said, I've never seen so many double crosses in a movie. And then one of the coolest scenes ever. They're taking both of these ships up in like these helicopters, and they got them tied up. These are helicopters designed to lift very heavy weight. Now, and all this gold is in there, and they're trying to take it away. And they're in there, and then the two helicopters. Well, basically before that, there's a fight on board one of them, and Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland are fighting these guys. And again, brings up the Pirates of the Caribbean, because he literally Mark Wahlberg's character calls Tom Holland Jack Sparrow. Again, justice for Johnny. And so Mark Wahlberg ends up climbing up and into this helicopter, takes over it, and then you got the other helicopter with the other ship, and they're flying through the air, and you got the bad guys coming over, swinging over like in Pirates of the Caribbean, while they're climbing on aloft up the rigging, and literally this movie never stops. I was on the edge of my seat, very interested, from the history to the clues to the action scenes that reminisced from Bond to Pirates of the Caribbean to Indiana Jones, and just a fantastic scene. But then at the end, they Mark Wahlberg's character, who is all about gold, he had a bag full of gold that he had taken from the ship, and he's of course is in the helicopter. You got Tati Gabrielle chasing after Tom Holland's character, and he's trying to get up to the helicopter, and the ship's getting ready to basically fall from the helicopter, and Mark Wahlberg's character ends up throwing the bag of gold that you didn't think he would to save Tom Holland's character, knocks out her all the way down to the water, and the ship literally lands on top of her. She is absolutely done. But that was one of the coolest scenes. You got they're going through these little mountains in the water, little big rocks and everything. Just absolutely cool. The special effects, the stunts that were done in this were phenomenal. I cannot say how much I love this movie. But and then at the end we get two post-credit scenes. Now the first one we see his brother, and he's writing on a postcard some of the postcards that he was getting to his brother Nathan, and he's like, I hope you're still getting these. Just remember to watch your back. So what Sam was trying to infer, I'm not sure, but he was sitting in some prison cell. Not sure who has him, but then we get a second one, and we see the actor who played Euron Greyjoy from Game of Thrones, and he's interacting with Nathan, and he has a map, and he wants the ring, and then of course Mark Wahlberg's character Sully comes in, saves him at the last second, and again sleight of hands because he grabs the ring back with the map. Just phenomenal. But then at the end, like as they're leaving, they turn around and you hear Nathan, Tom Holland say, "Oh crap!" And while you don't get to see who this is, I'm willing to bet that is Sophia Ali's character at the end. But yeah, what did you guys think of this movie? I really liked it. I love the history references. Now, I love the action. I love the different scenes, the directing, and Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland are really good together. And I hope, like, even after, like, we're obviously getting another Uncharted movie, but I hope we get to see them in future movies together because they work really well together. But what did you guys think? Did you like it as much as I did? Even if you're not a fan, if you're not a gamer and you never played the game, I think anybody can enjoy this movie. You do not really need to know the gaming history. They did a great job at directing and writing the story for this movie. So, again, go check out this movie if you haven't. And from the beginning of the video, when I asked you what was your go-to snack, I want to know. So in the comments, let me know what you thought of this movie and your go-to snack. So like if you're at the movie theater or you're at home watching a movie, just let me know. Tell me in the comments. Let's talk about it. And if you're a gamer and you played this game, let me know what you thought as far as the movie versus the game. Was it close to that? Did they do it justice? Because I never played the game, so I don't know. But again, thank you guys for watching. I love you guys. Till next time.